Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a check.
It's time for
Amanda Exclusiva.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Joining me today is one of my favorite employees from Cloud9. It's Ben Feldman. Hi, Ben.
Hi, thanks for having me, Amanda.
Of course, I'm so happy you're here. How's life been for you during quarantine? You've been keeping busy?
Oh my God, the best. It's so cool. It's so much fun. Everybody loves quarantine. It's been anxiety and exhaustion and stress and loneliness.
Yeah.
But I've got two kids and a wife, and I've got a good situation going for me. And also, we got to shoot our entire final season of Superstore during quarantine, so it was like a lot of locked up. And then for this period of time while we were shooting, I was one of the only people, like, I know, I mean, not in Hollywood, but in like real life, who like had a job to go to every day, and like lots of people that I saw. So it's been surreal.
So you've been going back and forth to being dad and then to being Jonah on Superstore. So
Yeah.
you've actually been out. So that's good, getting out of the house and going to set.
Getting out of the house and going to set, it was great. I mean, there's so many different protocols and procedures and safety precautions that happen at Universal and all of these places. We would get tested every single day of the week, sometimes twice in a row.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was crazy. Like, and there was different zones of workers on the set, and this goes for most sets right now, where like the actors are in one zone with a few other people, hair and makeup, assistant directors, etc., who, like, they're the zone that you can't mess with. Like, nobody else from other zones can come in, because we're like the zone that if one of us gets sick, the show has to stop until we're not sick. It's not like the normal, like, just like hanging out and bullshitting with like a bunch of like the good old boys and like the camera guys and whatever. Like,
Right.
you're kept at a distance. So it's been a strange time, but we were really lucky to do it and to not get shut down and to make it all the way through the whole season.
Oh, that's awesome. But we'll talk about Superstore in a little bit, but I want to
Okay.
go back in time a little bit
Okay.
first then. So tell me, like, when it comes to picking the projects that you're working on, like, let's say Drop Dead Diva, Mad Men, Silicon Valley, how do you go about choosing what you want to work on? Because you've been involved in a lot before Superstore.
Yeah, I did some things.
Yes, you did.
It depends. When you ask me that question, it depends on what point in my career you're asking it, because in the beginning, I picked what I was involved with based on who wanted to give me a job. And as as my career went on, you could just sort of see, just based on looking at it in chronological order, and I think this goes for most actors, to a degree, with each project, you have more authority and choice over what your next thing will be. Mad Men changed a lot for me, because Mad Men was a show that not only was popular to a degree. I mean, people give it too much more credit than it deserves, as far as sheer numbers of people that watch. Not a lot of people watch that show, but everybody's boss did. Everybody in Hollywood did. Critics did. Rich and famous people did. Like, it was the kind of show where if you pop on it, um, you're sort of awarded with more opportunity going down the road, because the people that are in a place to give you, in a position to give you any sort of opportunity, were the kind of people that watch that show. So post Mad Men, then the very next thing I did was I got to be a lead in a show that ended up not working right. And then with this show, you don't audition anymore. They offer you the parts, and you get to say, all right, prove to me why I want to be on this show. And maybe you sound like an asshole doing it, and I certainly did with Superstore. But that's sort of how it's gone.
Yeah. No, and I actually have a t-shirt for my next question. I want to know what
Good.
it's like working with this guy.
Who is? Oh, is that Jimmy?
Yes.
That's really funny.
This is
He's
my
great.
dad's shirt. I stole it from him. I'm like, I have to show Ben this shirt because it's awesome. I don't have a
That is
Superstore
really
shirt,
funny.
but Silicon Valley I have.
Yeah, first of all those guys are amazing. And Jimmy, I had met before, but never was I in a scene until I think their last season. I was never on screen with them. I was almost always with Thomas, or sometimes Thomas and Zach, or early on TJ or whatever. But that guy's super funny. They're all super funny. Those guys
yeah.
are unreal. And what you don't see on that show is how what super sharp improvers they are. Thomas Thomas plays the straight man a lot. Like the he doesn't get a lot of the goofier. He gets like the neurotic, like, oh, I'm sorry, oops, like that guy. But Thomas is an insanely funny guy. He is a troupe that does improv, Shakespeare, improv comedy, like in verse, like in iambic pentameter, with Shakespearean references, and it's improv. The guy's a genius. And Zach Woods, who's like the kind of lanky, skinny guy on the show,
Yeah.
he'd improvise something, and it would be a full paragraph, and it would look like something that writers wrote after discussing it for like, all day long in a writer's room, and he just kind of came up with it right on the spot. So those guys were all, and Jimmy too, I mean, they were all just really funny guys. I love that show.
No, I love the show too. I'm personally drawn to anything that's comedy related. I know you did a lot of dramatic shows too before getting into comedy. So what my question is, what drew you into comedy?
I came out to Hollywood to do a show called The Mayor. And it was about an 18-year-old who was the mayor of his own town. And it was Happy Madison produced it, which is Adam Sandler's company. So Adam was like my boss in real life. And it was for the WB, which for anybody watching YouTube right now was a network that existed that was kind of like the CW. In fact, that W means the same thing. And it never made it to air, but we shot 2 episodes. And like my parents were Christine Ebersole and Harry Groner, who are these big like Broadway actors. My girlfriend was Lizzie Kaplan, and my like annoying like grumpy sister who was like barely in it was Anna Kendrick.
Oh my
And it
God,
was
that
like,
had to
it
be
was
fun.
crazy. Yeah, it was really fun, and that was a comedy. That's what moved me out here. And then after that, the next thing I did was a show with Fran Drescher for 2 seasons. It was another multi-camera sitcom. So I actually came out here doing multicam, which is, for anybody wondering, that's like a show where you hear the audience laughing. People say laugh tracks, but like they're not, for the most part. They're like real audiences. And so that's what I did when I first came out. And then I ended up doing drama stuff and horror and all that kind of stuff later on. But I like funny stuff. I don't know.
I do too.
I'm happiest if it's drama and funny in the same place.
No, I understand where you're coming from. But before, you mentioned 2 names that I love, Fran Drescher and Adam Sandler. So what was it like working with
All
them?
the Jews.
Adam is your boss. That's true.
I found the Jews find each other. The on-camera Jews find each other real fast out here. Because there's plenty of us behind the camera, but there's not as many on. Adam was really great. Super cool guy. His company was super cool. Back then, that was like Happy Madison's first like TV show. And it was a trip for me, man. Like I had done a Broadway show in New York for a year before coming out to, and I left that show. And it was called, they made The Graduate into a play. And so it was Jason Biggs, Lisa Silverstone, Kathleen Turner. I played small parts and I understudied Jason. That was like my first job.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was super cool. And then I came out here because that's what I went to school for. I went to theater school. I went to Ithaca in New York. I came out and I was working for Happy Madison, and like they had this like, there's like on the Sony lot, which is this like old iconic lot. It's like where they shot, like Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz and all these incredible things. The old MGM lot. It's
What
like
a throwback.
Yeah, it's a super cool lot. I mean, a lot of newer stuff too, but it's like Sony used to be MGM Pictures, and it was super. It was a trip just to be there. But then the Happy Madison office was like off to the side in the back, and you'd go in, and Adam's like bulldog would be like chewing on a skateboard, and like I feel like people would be like playing video games and smoking weed in like the back office. Like it was like this crazy. It was like a frat in the middle of this iconic lot. And so that was super cool. Just working with and for those guys was crazy. And then Fran was like a sister to me. Fran was so much fun. We like went to concerts together, and like she would always, no matter what,
even if she like time.
It was crazy. Even if she didn't know the band that we were seeing personally, she would still be like, do you want to go backstage and talk to the band? And like, I'd be like, yeah, how?
That was spot on.
Yeah, she'd be like, don't worry, honey. Like, I'm going to go talk to the doorman. And we'd go up to like a doorman. She'd be like, just tell Jack and Meg White that Fran Drescher's here and wants to say hi. And then suddenly we'd be like backstage
That's
Like I
awesome.
vividly remember a moment where there was like a circle of people talking. It was like me, Fran Drescher, Meg White, Jack Black, Beck, and that was it. Just like in a
Wow.
circle talking. And I was like, what are we doing here? And literally just because Fran's like, let's go backstage. And that was what it was like. So those were like our weekends.
You're
That was my
lucky.
first real job. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a super
You had
cool
access
time.
to everything then. Fran was the VIP for everything.
Fran was a fun VIP, even if she wasn't. Like she kind of found a way to get in the back door, the stage door.
That's awesome. I'm very jealous of that. That sounds like a really good time. But what else
Cool.
seems really fun to me seems like being on the set of Superstore.
Yeah, it's yeah, we're gonna miss it a lot. We were a really close family. We still are. We're there. Nobody, every show there's usually somebody who kind of sucks, and everybody knows it. And I don't, unless it's me, I don't think that was the case for us. We set was great, and we had an incredible time on set. But like, I'm gonna miss. We had dinners. We went to Vegas after our first season. The whole cast and all of the writers. So it was like 20 people, and like partied for 2 nights, and like we like rented a green Hummer stretch limo and like took it to see a David Copperfield show, the magician. And then like America was she was the person that he like brought up on stage and like did this whole crazy magic this whole thing where he like figured out all this stuff. It blew us all away, and we, to this day, everybody's still mad at America because she refuses to tell us how that happened. She was like, no, I don't know, it was magic.
Well, it's a secret.
Yeah, so we did that. We went we just this last year, one of the last trips anybody took before the pandemic, last October, before the pandemic, we went to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, not for Mardi Gras, for Halloween, which was dope. And it was like we stayed in this incredible hotel. Jennifer Coolidge, who's so cool and so nice and also so strange, has this like beautiful, crazy, strange like house in New Orleans. And so we went like one night, and she has this like huge Halloween party where all these people come, and there's like jazz bands playing, and there's like weird, like crazy burlesque dancers, and then like like everybody. It was just this like you
Did
can't
Lauren
use the
wear her crazy cop outfit for Halloween to that party?
no. Lauren last minute couldn't come to the trip, which sucked.
Oh,
But
we pull out the iconic costume.
She doesn't do that in real life, but she was gonna be. We were the Gomez's from.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, from Addams
Addams Family.
Yeah. So, but then she bailed, so it was just me.
Gomez without.
Not the Gomez, the Addams. I was Gomez. But
okay.
Oh, and Mark McKinney, who plays Glenn, and Nico, who plays Mateo, were the Shining twins. You can find pictures of this on my Instagram. But we went out with these vampires, like actual ones who I believe drink blood, and like went to these like we did a tour with them and went to a secret vampire bar on top of a club that no one knew about, and just sat there and drank absinthe with them and talked to them about being vampires, and then went to Jennifer Coolidge's crazy Halloween party, and you like couldn't use the bathroom downstairs because it was haunted by the ghost of a little dead girl, and so you had to go upstairs and use the bathroom in the kimono room. Wow. It was crazy. So it's those in a really, really long answer to your question. I'm gonna miss
no, I love it. I love the stories.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the trips and the partying that the cast does. I think we've got one more that we're gonna try and do for our finale, where we're gonna meet outside. America is borrowing a projector from someone. We're gonna watch the finale and
oh, that's so nice. I'm happy she's coming back for the finale, by the way, and that's something that fans can expect. But what else can we expect? Tears, laughter?
For me, tears. I've watched because so I produced the show, and so I watch a bunch of edits. And so the show, like, there's the editor's cut, and then there's the director's cut, and the first producer's cut, and there's like 4 of those, and then there's the network cut. So I've watched it like 1,000 times with little changes here and there, and I can't get through it without being just completely emotionally devastated. So
I'm sure I'm going to be crying too, based on what you're telling me from that one word.
If you watch the show a lot,
I've watched every single episode.
Okay,
every single.
The last couple minutes is probably gonna kill you a little.
Great. So you're saying get the Kleenex early before. Okay. All right.
I mean, I can say there's a montage, and there's a lot of references to the beginning, to the pilot, and to early on. And we have a lot of, throughout the end of this season, we've had a lot of people come back, even in little tiny bit parts, all the way, even in the finale, we have someone kind of reprise a role that they did Justin in the beginning in the pilot, and the guys who wrote the pilot were our main executive producers now, but also Justin Spitzer, who created the show and who left a few years ago, came back and wrote it. And the guy who directed it, Ruben Fleischer, who's like a big director, he did like Zombieland and a bunch of other, he did Venom. He came back, he directed our pilot, and he's a producer, and he came back and he directed the finale. And what's cool about when you're a director of a pilot is you create a language, the way things are shot. We had a bunch of things. There's like a Bible to a show. For us, there's no tight shots. You're never going to see anybody this close. You're not going to see push-ins. The camera's not going to move unless a camera is moving them. A character's moving them. All these kind of things. And Ruben just broke all of those rules for the end of the show and made this like beautiful ending that's just like super sad and super sweet. And I think and Superstore, fucking dork. So yeah.
I watch the show all the time, like I told you, and I notice things during every episode. So before America Ferrera left, every episode I would check her name tag. So out of all of them, which one made you laugh the most?
Well, even if usually the name tags were connected in some way to the writer of that particular episode.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so usually. My last episode that I directed, America's name tag said Effie, which is my daughter's name.
Oh,
and
what a small world.
And that was also because the guy who wrote that episode, John, had written enough episodes that he got names on America's name tag already, and so usually the director doesn't get to choose who the name tag is, but it was my last episode. So if you watch that episode, I forget what the name of it was, but it's the one where I was like picketing outside with Nicole, with Cheyenne.
I love Cheyenne.
She's great.
She's
great, and Nicole's an incredible actress. Yeah. But yeah, that's
I mean, everyone's great. It's like hard for me to pick a favorite out of all of you.
Yeah, it's a good group, and they're insanely funny too. I mean, it's Superstore, like Silicon Valley, is a job where every day I got to go to work and be the least funny person in a room full of the funniest people I know. It was really, really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna miss that a lot.
So after Superstore, I'm just curious, what's next for you? I mean, I saw a little Disney thing with Monsters at Work.
Yeah, Monsters.
So I guess that's next.
That is immediately next. That's what's July 2nd. And that's so fun and so cool. And it's first of all, it's like this, it's Disney and Pixar, and it's also Monsters, which is such one of my favorites.
Me too.
But it's also all the Billy Crystal and John Goodman are in the show with me. Henry Winkler is in it.
Wow, good cast.
Mindy Kaling is like my best friend on the show.
That's fun.
She's in it. She's so funny in it too. But it's so cool. It's such a great, fun thing to do, and so different. And they're putting so much work into it. So that comes out soon. And then I don't know. We're looking right now. There's stuff out there, but I'm not rushing into anything.
Well, I'm excited to see what you do next, and I'm a huge Monsters Inc. fan, so I'll definitely be checking out Monsters at Work to watch you. I mean, I will miss.
And everybody, you're gonna love it. It's great.
But I'm very excited.
Superstore, you can rewatch on Hulu and Peacock.
Yes, and I did that during COVID, Ben.
Did you really? Oh,
yes,
funny.
I did. I was wondering if we could play a quick game. It's called the speed round. So what I'm going to do is ask you as many questions as I can within a minute. They're about you. They're like fun questions.
I will probably get them wrong.
No, you
won't. That's even possible. Let's see. Let's go. Let's do it.
I'll give you my record. So right now it's 22. James Roday from A Million Little Things did a really good job. Maybe you can beat
22.
him.
That's 22 full questions that what does 22 mean?
He answered 22 of my questions.
Okay. The goal is to get in as many as possible.
Yes, that is the goal. He did very well. Okay. And I have faith in you.
Oh boy.
All right, you ready?
Go.
Okay, where was your first kiss?
On a cruise ship.
What food don't you like?
Tomatoes.
If you could be best friends with a character from Superstore, who would it be?
Mateo.
What was your first job?
Baskin Robbins.
Love Baskin Robbins. How do you spend your day off?
Drinking.
What was the last TV show you binged?
Narcos Mexico. Season 1.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Lunch sandwiches.
Do your best Glenn impersonation.
Glenn's pretty hard to do sometimes. You know what? He's honestly he's a Muppet. It's my same as a Muppet.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Sandra or Carol?
Carol is fascinating to watch. Enough people go with Sandra.
Eat in or eat out?
Out.
And one more. What's the first thing you do in the morning? Oh, the timer's going off.
I can't answer that then. I don't know what I would say to that anyway. It's were I to answer that, it's literally say something along the lines of, okay, I'm coming downstairs. I know it's time to get up. Because I have
That's
a 3-year-old.
what I do too. My dad will text me because I sleep in. He's like, "You waking up today? Do you want to come down?"
By the way, what time in the morning is that your dad does that to you?
10.
You have no. Just wait. One day.
I know.
Time from now.
When I get a job.
No, and forget about a job. I've had jobs forever. Fuck that. I mean, when you're a toddler, when you have a little kid, and then suddenly there's a moment where you go 6, if I'm lucky. 6:10 is when is.
How are you
the
not
light.
tired?
I'm always tired. I did 4 straight hours of interviews today only because of energy drinks. I'm constantly exhausted. I can't get anything done. My wife and I are miserable. He wakes every single morning. Imagine what it is to have a kid, and we have 2 now. After you get to the first part where they don't sleep at all during the night, so you literally wake up all night long. You don't sleep at all. Once you get into a groove, the like sweet spot, imagine like every single morning of your life getting woken up at 6 a.m. and realizing early on, oh, like this isn't a job. Like a job, you're like, I can't wait for Saturday. There's no Saturday. It's just always 6 a.m. unless you go on vacation, and you better go on vacation for like a week because your body will wake. Even if we went out and got wasted, like we could go to Vegas tonight and go and party as hard as we've ever partied. And my wife and I sleeping in would be 7 a.m. So yeah, I wake up every morning to my son going, he has a little light that tells him it's okay to leave his room. And he just sits there staring at it. When it turns yellow, he comes up to our room every morning at 6 a.m. Boo! The yellow light went on. My yellow light's on. Let's go. And then we go downstairs.
How old are your kids?
He's 3 and she's going to be 2 next month.
Oh, wow. So you do have an early wake-up call. So I guess
that's why I do all these interviews down here in the basement. It's the only safe place in my house. So that's like your man cave. You hang out there and yeah, I mean it's not very manly. It's also like where the Peloton is, but it's
nice.
But it's like the only room where the kids don't really come down. And so whenever you have to do press or anything like that, it's down here. That's awesome. Well, your record was 13. You did well though. You answered. How did I don't understand. I feel like I have a whole bunch of questions here. You said before the last question, you said, here's the last question. Well, because the timer was going off. It was like 5 seconds. How did this fucking other guy do? I've answered so quickly. No, you did. You did. It's bullshit. I feel like you gave him more time. That makes no sense. I swear to God, you can watch any of my other interviews and there's a timer that says 1 minute. That should have been, it was so fast. I answered so quickly. Like I was like, I'm going to win this thing. You did great. No, really don't talk to me. I don't want to hear you did great. It's bullshit that guy beat me. I thought I did. I thought it was really impressive. No, I loved your answers to all of the questions. Now they were very impressive answers. So I'll say that. Great. That's all that matters. As long as I get praised, I'm happy. Of course. And I'm a huge fan of yours. And I hope you know that. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with me today, Ben. Heck yeah. It was a lot of fun. And now I get to go pass out for the rest of the day. So that's cool.